welcome back to another episode of Financial Fix with Sharnella. Today, I want to talk about budgeting again, but I want to go just a little bit more in detail about if you're just starting off with a budget or you're trying to reorganize your budget, the best way to do that, because this is how I started off over 25 years ago. I was having a real difficult time. 25 years ago, I determined that I wanted to save $1,000 a month because I had a goal of saving for a huge down payment, 20% down payment on my next home. The home that I was living in was a nice home, but I wasn't exactly happy with it. I lived in Redford Township. The home was a little over 1,200 square feet. It was myself, my ex-husband, my son. I noticed that, wow, if we have another kid, we're going to run out of space here. So I thought, let's get aggressive with our savings. So I wanted to save $1,000 a month, but I wasn't real structured at that time with my budgeting and everything. So I had to learn. So what I did was I started trying to budget solely on paper, and it wasn't working because I would put the $1,000 into my savings account every month. My ex was paid bi-weekly, so was I. And so I found though by the end of the month, I was taking a couple $100 out of the savings that we were supposed to save to cover expenses. And so I thought, man, what's going on here? Why is my budget not working for me? So what I determined was, okay, my mortgage, car note, car insurance, all of that money is paid by check. So I would write checks back then. Again, this was over 25 years ago. So I was probably around 24, 25, something like that. So I'm writing checks for all of my major necessities, lights, gas, water. But I couldn't figure out why we weren't saving $1,000 because on paper it looked like we could save $1,000. So what I did was I decided, okay, for my groceries, my non-essential things that I have to buy for the house, like toiletries, laundry detergent, cleaning agents, things of that nature, as well as spending money, I would start withdrawing cash. And I created what was called an envelope system. Okay, so this envelope system, every 2 weeks when we would get paid, I would withdraw the amount of money that I allotted for that particular expense in my budget. I would take that money and put it in its own envelope. There was an envelope for groceries, there was an envelope for spending money, an envelope for miscellaneous things. And so when I began using cash for these items, these non-essential, well, the food was essential, but some of the other non-essential things that I had in my budget, I began to realize where I was overspending. So when you use cash and you keep spending, the spending comes to a screeching halt when you have no more money in that envelope. The reason why credit cards can be a negative thing for those of you who are not structured with your budget is because oftentimes, even though they have limits, those limits are oftentimes so high, it allows you to spend more than what you have, more than what you have coming in, more than what you can afford to pay back. But when you use cash, and when you open up that envelope and you see that the cash is starting to dwindle, it started off with a few $100s and you're down to just a few bucks, you start thinking, oh my gosh, you start scratching your head like, where did all my money go? And then it forces you to retract your spending. Because what I learned was I was buying a lot of fast food because we had a lot of expendable cash. So I went and bought fast food as I desired. I would often buy a lot of knickknacks for the house, just little things that I like, redecorating more than I should, just spending money on things that just were not essential. And so once I did that for a few months, I restructured my budget, and then guess what? We started saving $1,000 a month. And then from there, it just went up and up and up and up and up. And every time I had a savings goal, I would increase that savings goal. And I found ways to not only cut back on my budget, but back then I wasn't working a whole lot. So I thought, you know what? If I want to start saving $1,500 to $2,000 a month, rather than working just 4 days a month while my ex-husband was working full time, why don't I start working a little bit more to bring in some money? So, should I say to bring in more money? So the envelope system is a really, really great system. Now, I know a lot of you may say, oh, that is just so inconvenient working with cash. It can be, but until you get yourself in the frame of mind where you can budget without using cash and you can stop yourself from overspending in ways that you shouldn't be overspending, I highly recommend you give it a try. It really isn't all that bad. So if for any reason you say, Sharnella, I'm just not getting it. I've seen your previous videos teaching me how to budget, but like the young lady I'm working with now, you want me to sit down with you and help you go over a budget and set up a budget system that works best for you, please reach out to me, Sharnella@SharnellaClark.com. For the rest of you, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Financial Fix with Sharnella, for more tips.